we're down.
All right, we're recording.
Okay.
10-4.
Oh, ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas, everyone! And thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Weekly Puck Off, brought to you by Budrizi and Colt 45, accompanied by, for his last ever podcast, producer Connor, who is leaving the office for other career opportunities. We wish him all the best. I should have said that for the end of the podcast. Sounds like we're done.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah,
you can follow us on Twitter and subscribe and all those good things. See you next week.
Way to start this week's off on a downer.
Yeah. Whatever.
You know, he's gonna go out with a bang. We'll put it that way.
Bad news
Out
first.
with a
He always
bang.
does. I think, Coach, that's your motto, isn't it? Go out with a bang.
I like to go.
Come in with a bang, go out with a bang.
Usually end it
And
with a
bang
bang.
everywhere in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in
end it
between.
with a bang. Yeah.
A lot of banging.
Yeah, a lot of bangs.
So you're off to the old DND.
Yeah, Miltree.
How do you feel about that?
I feel good.
Do you feel like that's going to change you, or are you going to remain the same old coach? The same old
Well,
Connor?
I mean, generally when you join the Terry, you get a little greasier.
Yes.
But I don't know if I could get any greasier.
See, that's the thing. Since your greasiness is already at such a level,
Yeah.
if anything, I feel like the added discipline will kind of diminish it, which I don't know if I like that.
Well, I guess time will tell. You'll
Or
see,
on the contrary, will he be so disciplined at work that he has to just unleash every night afterwards?
Right.
That's when we want to
It
get you to
could-
call in for a couple of pod
The,
appearances.
the greasiness factor could just magnify
I'll come in-
tenfold. And I don't know what the ramifications of that could be, because it's
I'll come
already
in
like
with a couple stories from different ports, banging scorts and stuff.
scorts.
Hookers and escorts.
Stories from the boat.
What are you going to do when they shave your hair?
I don't know.
It's too bad we didn't have the video component to this, man, because the
I've
public
got a 6-inch faux hawk.
the public needs to see this.
This has gotten out of hand, and luckily, as he announced to everybody today in the office, he has a haircut booked for tomorrow.
They just gave me a friendly reminder.
At
in a
Sailor
text.
Bops. Let's hear it for Sailor Bops.
Yeah.
God love that
Great
place.
spot.
Halifax, Nova Scotia, top of the hill.
Sailor Bops, if you'd like to
Online
sponsor
booking
the podcast.
now available. Sailor Bops.
Yeah, online booking now available. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, we'd love to continue to promote this.
Free haircuts. That's all we ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, and seeing as they're so
Little
cheap
trim.
and affordable for the entire family anyway,
Yeah.
why not?
It's a win-win.
Yeah, for both parties.
It's a complete win-win. So you got some stories lined up for us today, it being your final episode, your final
Just,
your final ride, so to speak.
Shaking the table, Connor. Shaking
got
the
a
table.
couple
You're shaking. I don't know, like you're actually shaking the table. Yeah, there you
got a
go.
couple greasy stories from the road.
Okay.
Stories
Well,
from
we'll
the
get into
road.
that because we have not too much structure, I think, for this
No.
week, do we?
Yeah, this week our preparation consisted of.
Nothing.
Yeah, and this is actually the least effort we've put into any podcast, and I think it's going to be a good result. I have a good
as
feeling.
well.
I wasn't here last week because I was out with the mums.
Did you hear that pod? I didn't even listen to it afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
I just uploaded the dry audio, did not edit a single word.
Can somebody tell me what happens when you
put it in
get the
dry.
mumps?
When you get the mumps,
What happens? Your neck swells up.
Yeah, your glands all swell up, and in some cases, apparently, it can actually make men infertile
Yeah.
because it
I
causes,
need that.
It causes
Ooh.
fertility issues because
Ooh.
I think your junk, your balls must swell. Or
Yeah.
something goes on
Yeah.
down there.
I'd like to get
There's
the
lots of
mumps
swelling, and it also is like flu-like symptoms. So it's
Never
not
have to
it's
wear a
not a
condom.
fun.
ever again.
Ooh. Let's hear the PK. Do the PK.
Okay, here's the PK.
Yeah.
This was taken off of NHL.com where the various players are describing what they want for Christmas. And this
So-
was PK Subban's answer.
Here we go.
Ooh.
Try it again.
Okay, here we go.
Ooh.
What a great soundbite. In other news, I just heard from Ian. He's going to make a surprise appearance on the podcast in 15 minutes.
Cool.
Talk about
Danny
preparation,
Mac.
folks. We just secured
Big
our
red.
guest. We secured our guest right now.
Here's what I don't get with the mumps. You can vaccinate for that shit.
Yeah.
So you would think that by
And
now,
Crosby was vaccinated twice.
and yet he still got it?
There's like it's like a 2-round shot. Like you get a shot, and then a few weeks later you get another shot. And he had both rounds before the Olympics.
So what is going on here? Is there some
Apparently-
highly contagious mutated strain of the mumps?
Yeah, well, it's the.
That they released
They
to
were
the
saying
NHL.
that the vaccine is not 100% successful. Like it's not nearly as successful as most vaccines.
Clearly.
Like it's not as good as your typical flu shot or anything like that.
This is a conspiracy contrived by the Americans because they don't like that hockey is becoming almost as popular as basketball.
Yeah, maybe.
Or they're still just pissed
They
that Crosby.
Are
released
you guys
keeping
on
them in
board
the
or am I
Olympics.
delusional here?
No, they're just
released
mad
it
that
on
Crosby
the
keeps
NHL.
beating them.
3 Penguins left Florida the other day to go get tested for the mumps.
That's crazy.
I can't remember who they were. I saw them in the elevator.
Speaking
That's
of which,
crazy. Well, if you look at Pittsburgh's injury report these days, oh, look at this thing.
oh,
Oh,
Whoa, whoa,
Hey.
whoa.
man, too.
There's like 15 players on this thing.
Jesus.
Look at it. Illness.
that's their-
Steve Downey. Illness. Brendan Sutter. Illness. Thomas Grease. Bo Bennett.
Grace.
Grice. You get the idea.
I thought that was their entire roster. It turns out this is actually their injury
This is
list.
just their injury report, yeah. So
What
half of
about-
them are out with the, the quasi mumps, and a bunch of other shit going on.
13
too.
players.
Camo is out.
13 players off
Yeah.
the regular roster that are not on
That's
it.
it. That is mental.
No wonder.
And yet Pittsburgh still continues to win.
There was a guy playing on Crosby's line last night. His name was Rust. I was like, who in the hell is Rust?
Yeah, like is he the popcorn guy? What?
I guess this is why, because there's 13 players on the starting
13
roster
guys
that are
on
injured.
injury
And
report.
only one of them's a goalie, so that means 12 skaters are not present.
You know what this really looks good on? Pittsburgh's chances to
Yeah,
maybe do
really
it this
though.
year. Because
They're
if you can
still
still
first
win,
place.
all of these guys out.
They're tied. Did Anaheim lose last night?
They won in overtime.
Yeah.
Kessler scored an OT.
Okay, so then that means Pittsburgh's 3 points back with 3 games in hand
Well, there you
on the
go.
number 1 team. So their win percentage is still the highest in the NHL.
Yeah, they're still first in the East. is
With an
Pittsburgh.
injury-ridden, tattered,
The walking wounded.
mump-infested roster.
Yeah, guys dropping like flies. It's crazy. Here's what else I don't get. I was, and this has nothing to do with hockey, by the way, but
Cool.
I feel compelled to mention this because it really kind of bothered me. So here I am doing my my weekly laundry, and this is the sticker that they put on the washing machine, and it's like one of these warning stickers, and it says fire hazard. Never place items in the washer that are dampened with gasoline or other flammable
What?
fluids. Isn't that just like common sense?
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, then again, maybe someone maybe they're like an auto mechanic and there's a bunch of grease and stuff on their clothing and they just want it to dry. But why wouldn't you wash that
yeah,
first?
I think you'd throw it through the wash first.
You'd have to wash it first.
Yeah, like wouldn't you have like something like at your garage or your garage or whatever, and you're gonna wash your shit then? You're not gonna take it home to your apartment and put it in the washing machine there, are you? I certainly hope not.
I don't know, but you blew it? Is that what you're getting at? or
It
is
just makes me question like
It
who
just-
is out there that is gonna be dumb enough to put a gasoline saturated shirt in the washing machine.
Well, when in today's
They could
age,
conceivably burn down my apartment
I
complex.
could see a woman doing it.
or how
I
about
guess-
in today's age
Whoa.
of oversensitive world and media in general, they just
Yeah.
have to avoid the lawsuit or potential like social media bashing that comes along with other
Yeah.
people being idiots.
Doing so can result in death, explosion, or fire.
Makes sense.
I don't know, man. Like, you try and be optimistic about where our society's going, and yet they still have to put this sticker on the washing machine. You know, like, are people that stupid? I mean,
Fired up.
I really
granted, I've done stupid shit before too. Like, okay, there was that night when we went to the Mooseheads game there a couple weeks ago, and I fell asleep on the bus.
Yeah.
And prior to that, you spilled beer on the 7-year-old in front of us.
Oh wow.
I didn't hear about that till afterwards, but a coworker of ours said Steve was getting really fired up at one point, cheering, and he got a little excited, and a bit of beer flipped over the top of his cup and like landed on the kid's head in front of us.
It did.
Yeah, there was a group of children cheering in front of us,
That's great.
and Steve soaked them with ale.
So this is the Halifax Mooseheads, our local major junior team, and we all went there a couple of weeks ago, or some of us here from work did, and I don't remember that happening. I feel like I would
Couple too
remember.
many.
That's because we were a little too obliterated for our own good.
And then I fell asleep on the bus.
As
And
a
I woke-
result, he fell
This is
asleep
all
on the
coming
bus.
together now.
Yeah, don't worry. I mentioned that was why you blew it last week when you weren't here. Was you falling asleep on the bus?
And I didn't even so much miss my stop as I hadn't gotten to my stop
Yeah.
yet, but didn't realize, was disoriented, got off the bus in Fairview, which is kind of like the Halifax equivalent of like Compton down in LA, and had to like walk home. It was like so like dark, I didn't see a soul. I kept expecting like Tolkien orcs to like jump out of the woods and attack me. But somehow I made it home in one piece.
All right, well, that was the you blew it from last week. So it's a good follow-up.
Quality.
We got a little more detail into the matter now.
The quality you blew it then.
Anyway, we
last
were
week.
just at one point we briefly for about 20 seconds mentioned hockey there. I just wanted to get back to that. I mean it's a hockey podcast, but this week's not so much tailored at hockey. Happy holidays, by the way, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas,
This
everybody.
is being recorded on the 23rd, 2 days until Christmas, 2 sleeps.
I hope Santa finds you all.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Who's,
back-
who's the Hanukkah guy? What's the Hanukkah equivalent of Santa?
I don't think they have that. I think
idea.
it's just the family gives each other like 9 gifts, one for each candle.
The
or
family
is it
get
7?
together. Okay.
A rabbi
either,
dressed up
either
as Santa.
7 or 9.
So there's no mythological B&E guy that's gonna like deliver you stuff.
Just a menorah.
Just a delusional rabbi.
Okay. Anyway, we were talking about Florida and Pittsburgh, and I just wanted to quickly touch on the fact that my dark horse Panthers are still doing well. They're still dark horses. Luongo's playing great.
Yeah.
They're in the playoff picture, well above 500 now. Just beat the Penguins. Yes, the Penguins are injury-ridden, but they still found a way to beat Marc-Andre Fleury 3 times in regulation.
And here's the most shocking thing. Okay, there's been some surprising things that have happened so far this year, like Buffalo winning 10 of 13 at one point. Calgary looked really good there for a while. You know, not to rub salt in the wounds on your last podcast there, Connor, but Barkov actually did something, and that just really amazes me.
Yes.
That's the most shocking thing that I've seen so far this season.
Is
Because he scored the shootout winner.
it too early to say that he's been a bust?
It's not too early.
Because
The guy's a complete catastrophe.
They took him before Jonathan Drouin and Seth Jones, and Seth Jones has been, I mean, he hasn't been exceptional, but defensemen usually take a little longer to develop, and he is on the second pairing, I believe, in Nashville. And Drouin has looked extremely good when they give him the opportunity to actually play in Tampa Bay. Meanwhile, of course, McKinnon is the far and above favorite out of those rookies, which is why he went first overall. But in between that mix, you have Barakov, who went before the first 2 guys I mentioned, and he has not really looked like anything better than a fourth-line NHL player.
Yeah, what's going on there?
They must have seen something in him, but
Bad drafting.
you never know. I mean, players seem to go to Florida to die. Look at Huberdeau.
Yeah.
All these players with exceptional offensive prowess go to Florida and become 35-point forwards.
Yeah, except for Ekblad though.
Yeah.
And
Ekblad's looking real good.
Nick Bukestad has been tearing it up lately.
He's been coming around. I mean, Barkov might still resurrect his potential at some point. The problem is his rookie year was a disappointment, and his point production so far this season has been even less than his rookie season. So I don't know.
There aren't too many players from a fantasy standpoint. I don't think there are too many players on the Florida Panthers that I'd want on my fantasy team. The only exceptions being Roberto Luongo and Aaron Ekblad. Those are 2 guys I'd want on my team. Luongo, not as a number 1 goalie, but probably as a number 2, just because he faces a lot of shots playing for that team. Yes, he'll steal them some wins, but his goals against average won't be exceptional.
I think
If he was on a good team, he'd be.
Oh yeah, definitely. I still think he's one of the most underrated players in the NHL. He's a great goalie that has been constantly ragged on by the media because of a few poor playoff performances. Much like Marc-Andre Fleury, great regular season goaltender, fantasy relevant, fantasy stud, but a couple bad games in the playoffs cost him a reputation of being one of the elite goalies in the NHL.
last I checked was leading the league in shutouts with 6. So there you go.
There you
to
go.
further your point.
And I think a lot of that does have to do with the Florida Panthers being a lot better than they were last season in front of him.
Maybe Barkov just needs to change the scenery. Ottawa's getting desperate. Maybe Ottawa can take a flyer on him, and
I would like
maybe that could work out. And Ottawa can play this song when Barkov arrives to the Canadian Tire Center, Canadian Tire Place, whatever it's called.
Under the sunlight, welcome to this place.
So Ottawa could trade Hoffman
With
to
arms wide
Florida,
open.
Jeez.
and then everyone's happy.
Have we had any more updates on Scott Stapp?
Scott Stat.
Scott Stapp, the lead singer of Creed.
Oh fuck, I don't know.
No,
What any more? Has he died since then?
no, I haven't seen him on Celebrity Poker. Haven't seen him on TMZ, which
Haven't
kind of
seen him on the
concerns me
streets.
a little bit. It makes me a bit worried.
One of those things that you make fun of him for a week because of his situation, then it gets swept under the rug and everyone forgets about him. Why don't we help each other, people? He's a human.
Right.
He's a human being. Let's help him.
Right. Maybe
Rather
he's,
than making
maybe,
fun of him,
Maybe
get him-
he's practicing with Barkov. Maybe that's why Barkov is so shitty.
Maybe he's Marc-Andre Fleury's psychological trainer.
Maybe.
And now that they finally fired him and he's on the street, that's why Fleury's starting to play well.
Maybe Fleury kind of goes, I thought I was sort of a bit fragile mentally. Now I'm comparing myself to this guy, and I'm realizing that I'm a bit tougher than I thought I was.
I'm in the top 99% of human sanity.
I have a bit more stability than I thought I did. Maybe I'm not so bad. Exciting time for the old puck, though, because the juniors are going to ramp up here.
Yes. Yes.
Excitement level high.
Canada so far 1-1, I think, in pre-tournament action. Although they outshot the Russians by about 3 times, about a 300% margin in the 2-1 loss, where the Russian goalie kind of stole the show.
McDavid playing,
McDavid playing.
looking good, hasn't scored yet.
Team captain Lazar, I should mention. Ottawa's Curtis Lazar, released to play in the tournament, has been announced as team captain.
Ooh, that was big.
Assistant captains are McDavid and Reinhardt.
A big addition to the Canadian national junior team there.
Huge.
Horvat not going.
Yeah, too bad.
That sucks.
Yeah, if only the NHL could just shut her down for like 2 weeks during the World Juniors would be unreal.
Another thing too, if we had another lockout, like we'd have McKinnon, Drouin.
Imagine that team.
Let's sign a petition. Let's go on change.org and create a petition for thousands of people to sign saying let the kids play.
That junior team, if there was a lockout and that sort of came to fruition, all of those players on the juniors, that team could make the playoffs in the NHL.
Probably.
Other than the fact that you got Focali and net, and that would be about the only deficiency.
Yeah.
Make the playoffs is a bit of a stretch, I think, but better than at least 3 of the current teams.
So the schedule for Canada is this. They play on Boxing Day against Slovakia, 8 o'clock Eastern. Then they play the Germans on Saturday, the 27th. That is also at 8 o'clock. That's at Bell, the first game at Bell. Then they go and they play Finland. Looks like all of Canada's games are at the Bell Center in Montreal. Toronto doesn't get any. I don't know how that works.
Except for in the playoffs, Toronto gets Canada's playoff games. I was reading that online.
Oh. Well, there you go then.
Yeah, it was like regardless of what seed Canada finishes in the playoffs, they'll be playing in Toronto.
So they get Finland on the 29th, Monday, and then New Year's Eve, the big showdown against the United States and Eichel. 4 o'clock Eastern.
My first thought when I looked at all this is that Canada's in a tough pool. I guess that's what happens when you don't win a gold for, 6 years now? We're no longer the favorite. And teams like the U.S. are probably seated higher than us at this point.
And so you get relegated into this ultra-tough group. Well, Germany's not that bad, though. In Slovakia, they're going to beat them easy. The only real tough games are Finland and the United States.
Yeah, well, Finland, the defending gold medalists, United States have basically been putting the hammer down to us the last number of years at the World Juniors, at least in the playoffs.
You know what they say about hammers, though?
Canada would be seated third in that pool, I think, behind the States and Finland.
Oh, God, no. Come on. Canada...
when they make that... I mean, like... On paper, when you look at the stats of the previous tournaments and what they've done so far,
that's previous.
Yeah, okay. Like what I mean is, like when the schedulers are making this pool, Canada would be number 3 in the pecking order, which is why the pool's so tough.
I think with McDavid, you got to give them at least second. Cannot wait to see them play the States and Eichel. Quarterfinals take place Friday, January 2nd. Semifinals Sunday, January the 4th, and then the gold medal game, which hopefully Canada will be in, takes place Monday, January the 5th.
I'm predicting a Canada versus Finland final.
I'm predicting I'm going to call in sick on Tuesday.
The Russians will not win a medal at this year's World Juniors. You heard it here first, folks, on the Weekly Puck Off.
I'm predicting Tuesday is going to be a sick day for me.
And
it's Ian McDonald, ladies and gentlemen.
The guest that we have secured as early as 15 minutes ago has joined us on the pod.
It's on a tight schedule.
So we, I don't know if Ian's aware of this, but this is Connor's last podcast as producer as he moves on to bigger and better things next week.
Yeah.
Who's going to fill the board?
Well...
Wait a minute. Hold on. Why aren't we doing one next week with Connor? He's still here.
I won't be here.
Yeah,
I'll be traveling to Ottawa for Christmas, where I will get to see the Senators play the Detroit Red
Wings.
Wings.
He's in Sens country.
The first real live NHL contest that I will have been able to take in this year. Hopefully not the last. Yeah.
Not in your life, though.
No.
Okay.
You would have seen it enough, obviously.
He's going to have a blast watching Ottawa win 3-1.
Who are they playing when you see him?
Detroit.
Good luck with a win there.
4-1 Detroit.
If Craig Anderson's in the net, I like Ottawa's chances. If Leonard's in the net, I don't. That's kind of been the way things are going lately.
Well, we'll see, I guess.
Nick does advantage at... Hey, come on.
That's what I had to say about that prediction right there.
What? You don't want to see the home team win?
You hit the post.
You don't want to see the home team win
I was not happy.
against the top team?
I would love to see that.
Detroit's on a 6-game
all kidding
losing
around
streak.
aside, yes, I'll be cheering for Ottawa as the Canadian team. Datsuk is my favorite Russian player, so, you know, as long as he stays healthy and I get to see him play, I'll be pretty happy about that too. And if Datsuk scores, I'll be doing this.
What's the date
out of respect. But if Ottawa scores, I'll be like, yeah, they'll be
it's
like...
this Saturday the 27th?
Yeah, 27th.
Yeah, is that the first game after the break?
Yeah, they don't
It
play
is.
until then.
They'll be
Ottawa
fresh.
could be fired up.
They'll be fired up because
They could be fired up.
they just lost a game which they should have won were it not for Braden Holtby stealing the show. Great game by Holtby.
What's the deal with the interim coach, or I guess the coach for the rest of the year? As an Ottawa fan, How are you finding that so far?
We
That
broke
transition?
that. We broke that down last week. I wasn't feeling optimistic. Right about now, I still think they're, regardless of what coach they have, they're a 500 hockey team, and that's pretty much how it's going to be. So I'm saying,
Good call.
tank it for McDavid. Get yourself down there. It's a deep draft pool this year. Budrizi on the soundboards. I'm liking that.
How did McDavid do? And I didn't see the highlights of that.
He
The win
didn't.
over
He
Sweden.
didn't have any points, but he looked good out there.
Yeah.
First game back.
Are they using
So-
him sparingly? They're probably trying to make sure him and Lazar don't get hurt.
I don't know what his minutes were like, but
When's
it
their
seemed like he was
first
out there quite a bit.
Actual game?
Boxing
26th.
Day
Boxing
against
Day.
Slovakia.
Slovakia,
That's right.
Time? Do we have a time?
8 p.m. Eastern, right?
8 p.m.
8 Eastern, 9 Atlantic.
Nice. So we won't be.
What a great time.
I'll be real sauced
What a
up
great
for that.
time.
Oh yeah!
Oh, that's my girlfriend's birthday, so I don't know if
Christina's
we'll
having
be
a
watching
party
hockey.
that night.
Drag her along with you.
I'm sure she'll watch, but
It's Canada.
I'll have to go for a nice dinner or something beforehand.
Yeah.
So your boy Lazar got named team captain.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before
Yeah.
you came in.
Were you happy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted him to play.
Yeah.
He's not really instrumental to Ottawa at this point,
No.
so they might
No
as well
one
let him
really
develop,
is.
get some confidence, get a bit of leadership experience,
Not even Carlson.
bring him back up, and Bob's your uncle.
Robert's your mother's brother.
Ottawa's not that far out of a playoff spot. The problem
No,
with
they're
Cameron
not.
is
I
he
just-
looks like
They're not the type of team that's going to string together 5 or 6 wins in a row. Like the beginning of the year was an anomaly. They usually, like, over the course of a 20-game span, they're almost always 10-10 or like somewhere within that frame, and it's tough to make the playoffs if you can't string together some wins.
Cameron looks like he's kind of nuts. Don't you get that impression? Like he does
He
a lot
looks-
of eye blinking.
Is he
and
from out here somewhere?
is he?
I think so. I
He
might
looks,
be wrong.
to me,
Someone
he looks
fact check that, but-
confused. He always looks confused.
I just always think he looks like the Sandman or whatever from Dark Knight.
Wasn't he their farm team coach, and they like
Well, he coached the World
Sucked.
Juniors. I know that one year.
He coached
Right,
1 year for the
right.
Ottawa, what are they called, the Binghamton Senators.
and then
He-
they
1 year they did great, but they had guys like Spezza on the team before he broke through. And then as soon as those guys left the team, he shit the sheets, and they made him the assistant coach of the Big Show instead.
He wasn't the junior coach that had McKinnon on the fourth line, was he?
I can't remember the year. I'm almost positive that he coached the World Juniors 1 year.
I hope it wasn't 2
Find
years
this out.
ago.
Yeah.
Because if he was, then you're in
If he
for a
was,
shitty year.
He got fired because he had McKinnon on the fourth line, and they didn't even win a medal that year.
Yeah, those were not good
Yeah,
times.
that's when they played Drouin 1 and McKinnon 4. wasn't it? And when they were like the 2 top scorers and
Why wouldn't you put them on a line? They're in a line.
2 best players in
And a
Canada
queue.
playing on the same line in their team, and you separate them,
Yeah.
make one of them a grinder.
yeah,
Who
'cause
was the
that's-
most
that's what
talented
Nate does,
player?
he's a
Yeah.
grinder.
He's a corner mucker.
Come on, man. The kid gets 65 points in his rookie season in the NHL, and you have him playing fourth line at the World Juniors.
So ironic because they got rid of McLean. One of the reasons they got rid of McLean is because they didn't appreciate the way that he was juggling the lines and some of the line combinations, and now they get this guy who is, if he was coaching for them then, Team Canada.
I don't think it was him.
I don't think it was.
No.
No.
But nonetheless, he's left Ottawa's line combinations the same since he took over. And as a result, Bobby Ryan and Zibanejad, playing with Mike Hoffman, have been awesome. MacArthur's still pointless in 12, I believe. So good
Good
job.
for him.
Good job,
Good for
Clark.
him, yeah.
Good
I
job.
bet you
Clark.
this podcast gets the most Senators coverage of any podcast.
Oh yeah,
ever.
more than keeping Carl.
In the world. Same with Calgary and Vancouver. I don't think they have a whole lot of... Yeah, this is
True.
one of the only pods in Canada where it's not all Habs or Leafs.
Remember once upon a time when we were debating whether or not Nashville was for real?
Yeah. After,
Just to sort of
after 10
segue into some other teams.
After like 10 games.
Well, it turns out they are for real, and they lead the league in 5-on-5 for and against goal differential. And they always say traditionally that if you're looking for an indicator as to who's going to get it done in the playoffs, look no further than that stat. Nashville leads the league by quite a bit. They're 1-7-1. Next closest team is 1-4-7, and that's Pittsburgh.
So that's ratio
With
of
Chicago
like,
being
goals over
third.
goals against.
It's a significant advantage that Nashville has over
And
the
a
rest
lot
of
of
the
that
league.
is on
Packer
the...
Rennie's the best goalie.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
league.
A lot of that's
Oh,
on the
big
shoulders
time,
of Rene.
big time.
The only concern I'd have with that stat is that with numbers like that, you'd expect them to be one of the, they are one of the better teams in the league, but they should be the best team in the NHL. I would assume based on that their power play and penalty kill are fairly weak if they're not able to win almost all their games with stats like that.
Their special teams are weak. Their power play, they're second to last. And their penalty
Jeez.
kill, they're 23rd. Yet, they're continuing to win, which tells me that with, some of the
continuing to win.
surprising firepower that they have on that team this year, that it's only a matter of time until they get the power play back together. And if that happens, then
Yeah, I would say if they can get that sorted out, then they're a definite contender to go deep in the playoffs. If not, that is a big void that they're going to have to fill because goals are hard to come by in the playoffs. And if your power play's not working, you're going to have to really battle to get them 5-on-5.
I just think it's impressive that they're 22-8-2 with their power play as abysmal as it's been.
Yeah. So theoretically, they should get even better in the next half, assuming that their power play only gets better from here.
And now they have Mike Fisher.
I'm guessing only Buffalo's worse. They're the 30th.
Buffalo is obviously the worst. Yeah.
Worst in every league stat ever.
Good guess, and yes, they're
Except
worse
for
by
your
a
bet.
lot.
Yeah, except for my bet.
Which is still alive. They have to win 3 more times for me to lose that bet.
For the rest of the season?
Yep.
Nah.
Did you guys explain that bet? I mean, you guys bet on Buffalo to get a certain
I
amount of
would-
wins,
They had
right?
to get
15 wins.
They had to get over 15. 15's a tie.
15's
They
a
had to
tie.
get over 15 wins on the season. This is when Buffalo had about 3 wins, and as soon as I made that bet, they won 10 of 13, and I was like, well,
They went on their tear.
if,
So,
okay, had
there's
it not
two
been for
parts.
that,
Yeah, and then Cody's 18 wins.
yeah, Slick took the bet as well.
So for you to get 19 wins with Buffalo this season means you win both bets.
$40.
And if it's somewhere between 16 and 18, then I give Cody $20 because it basically goes to Connor, then he goes to Cody.
Yep.
The soundboard is tricky.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what else is
it's not-
tricky. The viewers paying attention to all the side conversations going on at once. We really,
I agree.
this flow has really been off today. But I'm
I
having,
think it'll be good once you listen to it.
you know what? Fuck the viewers. I'm having fun. All 6 of you.
When I watch
Very
hockey, I
very
like to
fucking
see a lot of
Christmas.
a lot of
this
passing.
room.
I like to see the puck move around. Okay, and that's what we're doing right now. The conversational puck is moving around
Lot
all
of
over the place,
passing.
and
Actually,
the opposing defense can't keep up. What?
What do you got there, Colt?
By the way, Buffalo's
Just
power
going
play
to check
percentage
something.
9.3. It's below 10%.
I just realized. Ooh, wow.
Yeah,
That's better than it was though a few weeks ago.
Nashville 11.5.
Do you think Nashville's will be stronger being that they have more opportunity to get Weber the puck
Yeah.
on the one-timer? Like, with the shot that he has
Go through people.
Yeah.
and the goals
exactly.
he scores, you'd think that their power play
I think
will be
maybe.
higher.
Do you think maybe it's because James Neal has been, I mean, by his standards, struggling a bit lately the past few weeks?
A little bit. They do rely on that top line a lot, but I think now that they have Fisher back, their depth is a little bit more than you might think. Although Ole Jokinen doesn't do anything anymore. He has like 2 points in 30 games.
When's the last time he ever did anything?
Oh,
Probably
years
in Florida.
back with Florida.
Right.
2004.
His hair is pretty cool though. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
his hair.
Fight the flow.
Yeah, you can't deny the
He's
hair.
got some flow.
Yeah.
Guess who has the worst penalty kill in the league? This might surprise you guys.
So it's not Buffalo.
Pittsburgh.
It's not Buffalo.
Okay, don't tell
And
me.
it's not
Don't tell me.
Pittsburgh.
Don't tell me.
Pittsburgh is 4th
I'm
best.
going to have to say Carolina.
It is not
East or
Carolina.
West?
They're in the East. Carolina, believe it or not, 11th best penalty kill in the league.
Devils.
It's not the Devils.
Wait for it.
Boston.
Wait,
Nope.
wait. I need to get out
Say
my
every
list of
team in
teams.
the East.
I'm getting out my list of teams.
Florida.
It is the Columbus Blue Jackets.
It is the New York Islanders.
The
Oh,
Islanders.
the
Yeah.
Islanders.
That's right.
Wow.
Did
What
I
about-
not just read yesterday that they jumped from power up to second in the power ranking?
That makes sense. I bet you the stats are a little bit skewed because remember how shitty Halak was for the first month or so?
Yeah, he was horrible.
Now that okay, take like a 10-game rolling total and look at it 10 games from now and like just scrap the first 30. They won't be last anymore.
Well,
Hopefully, I mean for their sake, if they have the worst penalty kill in the league, that's gonna much like Nashville, that's gonna create problems for them in the playoffs.
huge. I mean, you can't de-emphasize the importance of special teams when it comes to the playoffs. That's for sure. When you look at the 5-on-5, I think what the rationale is that if you're a good team, sooner or later your special team numbers should theoretically sort themselves out, and you're left with 5-on-5 as the true barometer. Which, if you believe in that, which I kind of do, and
Yeah, it makes sense.
you know, if you're gonna look at one thing,
Possession numbers are all based on 5-on-5 stats.
that's right. So there you go. Nashville 1, Pittsburgh 2, Chicago 3, and the fading Tampa Bay Lightning are number 4. So
Fading?
what's going on
They're
with the
fading.
Lightning? Why do they suck all of a sudden?
I don't know if they're. I don't
They're
think
just
they're
in a
fading.
they're in a rut.
Bishop
A
is
drought-
out,
little
and
bit
as
of a
always, as
drought.
we all know, when Bishop goes down, the team gets swept by the Habs 4-0 in round 1 of the playoffs. So I don't know if they're pretty reliant on Ben Bishop.
And speaking of sucking, you have Nabokov, who's their backup.
Haven't they been using their other guy?
Yeah, they
Or
have
have
been.
they?
They have
Who,
been.
Nemesnikov, I think is
That's
his name.
it. That's
Yeah,
it.
they've been,
Jeez, good pull. I didn't know
Jesus
that name.
Christ.
Wow.
Damn, you're good.
They've been
40,
word bank you got
45.
there.
no research. I swear, I'm only looking at Twitter. No research.
Multitasking.
I'm trying to see how many followers we have now because we might have more than 6. Nope, 6. So, folks, while we're on the
That's
topic,
disappointing.
we really, really want to get to double digits followers. It'd be a great Christmas present if you can tell your mom to follow us or something. I don't know. Get us up to 10 by the 25th, and we'll release another episode in 2 weeks if you do that.
I think
Otherwise, we might call it a career because 6 is pretty pathetic at episode 12. Oh, by the way, I didn't say it during the intro, but this is episode 12 of the Puck Off, so we've reached a dozen.
that's impressive.
We're at a dozen.
Congratulations.
We can release a product and they can buy in bulk.
That's about 10 more than
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get to.
That's about 12 more than I thought we were going to get to when the ideas first came out and we were like, yeah, let's do a podcast.
I feel like in terms of expanding the listener base, getting up on iTunes will really be the key.
Or
key for us, so-
anything. Like,
Colton's been working on that for about 3 months.
well,
now.
I did try for several hours. I just suck at doing any programming related stuff. But
We'll get it
over the
figured
Christmas holidays, I will ensure that my computer savvy friend at least takes a look at it and sees what he can do for us.
out. We'll
If
get
not,
it. We'll get it figured
Yeah,
out.
if not, if
Get us
not,
on that iTunes thing.
we can be a
there.
SoundCloud podcast, like the Taggart and Torrance podcast.
Sure, that always remains an option.
Whatever floats your boat, I'm out after this one.
You gotta get somebody else on the controls here.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's good. Maybe that'll be you.
Could be me.
Slick or
We're gonna need
Ian
somebody.
Or Tack or
Then again-
Scotty
The
Boy.
hand I beat the out of you with.
I was gonna switch to Creed.
You can pick the hand I beat the out of you with.
That's actually a pretty good little transition.
That poor bastard is in some trouble, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Well,
The guy
we
who's
kind of
Guy
Oh
from
yeah,
Grid.
yeah. We were just talking about him. We
Got
haven't
into
seen
that
any
a
news
little.
ever since he had that little
Run-in with the CIA.
like interview there online.
Okay, what exactly happened?
The CIA was in on it somehow. Apparently, he was going around his neighborhood on a bicycle with a backpack filled with documents.
What?
His wife and his wife's sister called the cops on him. Like, I guess he's on the juice. He's on the
Oh yeah.
coke. And
He
he's
has
on
no
the-
Yeah.
money. He's blown all of his millions that he made with Creed.
Yeah.
Man.
Homeless.
You don't have a diamond selling album and be broke. Like, that's
No.
just fucking sad.
And now
That,
he's
that,
got-
that's more shocking
What are
than
these documents?
Didn't Michael Jackson do that though? Wasn't he like piss
Michael
poor by the
Jackson
time he
is-
passed away?
Who knows?
that's a whole other story. That's a
Yeah.
whole other podcast
That's a whole other realm of. I don't even want to.
of reality.
Problems.
Yeah, you don't call it humanity. It was like.
That's a
Plastic-
whole other facet of
Yeah.
reality that many of us will
You don't know
never
where these halls.
You have a sore throat too?
ever know or want to
I'm
get
bad
They're
into.
trying to kill off the onions from that sanguine. Fucking good, but disgusting.
Yeah, the fucking extreme Italian
Oh,
from Tim
yeah,
Hortons. Tim Hortons.
Tim's hurting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I've been boycotting that establishment, but they gave us some
Well,
free sandwiches. So
They upped their fucking coffee prices. 10 cents.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Yeah.
having said that, Tim Hortons, if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, we'd love to have you on board.
Oh,
I'm
that
sure,
dark
yeah,
roast.
'cause I'm sure they're listening.
What
right?
about that dark roast?
I'm
And it
not,
turns
like-
out, okay, like for the longest time, I thought that when you ordered a bagel through Timmy's, right, and they would only say apply butter to one side because I like my bagels toasted, you
Yeah.
know, like anyone else.
Well,
Instead of warm bread, that they
You gotta have hot butter.
Right, exactly. So they fire it into the toaster, and I'd always get like spread, i.e., butter applied to one side, and I was always under the impression that that was the Tim Hortons way. So, but it turns out it's not. It's just that they had someone working downstairs
Rookie.
in the Scotia Score. Yeah, like a rookie that just didn't care, that they have since gotten rid of.
Like the rookie wrap roller from
Really?
the store.
Yeah.
Ah,
My sister
fuck,
works for
man.
Tim Hortons, and she said that like corporate policy is to just spread it on one side and smush it together.
I asked because I remember that you told me that, and so I asked the lady that works down there, who's actually really nice, and I said, "I understand that you guys, as corporate policy, only." You can imagine this conversation.
You brought that up. You brought that up.
What a funny
I
thing.
did.
It's
I
written
did.
inside the little kitchen area. there.
This is the way I understand it goes down at Tim Hortons. She's like, nope. The person that was doing that, she's been,
Fired.
She's been let go.
she's off.
You blew it.
Can't even.
She's
butter
on to other
bagels.
things.
She can't do bagels. She gotta go.
Well, maybe it varies by store owner because I know my sister was telling me
Oh my
she
gosh.
always like takes extra like she's the bagel girl in the mornings and she takes extra care to spread that butter evenly on the bagels. But when the managers are like watching them do it, she always makes sure that she just does like the one side and then covers it up.
Well, think of it this way: butter's an expense.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe certain franchise
And speed.
ease,
It takes an extra like 5 seconds to butter
right?
the other side.
Speed, expense, like.
Well, if
these are the things that you deal with if you work at fucking Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
If you make as much money as Tim Hortons and you're gonna cut corners on stuff like that, then I'm no longer frequenting your establishment.
Stay in school.
But please
kids.
still sponsor us
Yeah, we hate you, but if you want to sponsor us, we will drink your coffee if it's free.
and
Yeah.
pretend to like you.
I like McDonald's coffee.
McDonald's coffee is the best.
Yeah.
So Tampa Bay, we can all agree, are coming back then.
Back to hockey. I think that so far, what are we at? 34 minutes? I'm going to say about 7 of that has been hockey.
A good solid 7
The
minutes.
first 10 minutes was talking about Steve's laundry.
It's the way it
146.
should be.
I'm going for a smoke in 9 minutes.
All right, all right. Well, we have no topics to get to, so if If you
The,
want
the
to push
Bishop
yourself.
thing was big. He's coming back soon, though. They should be all right after that. The question is, what's going to go on with Drouin?
He's been playing some top line time again with
They
Stamkos.
have him on the top
You gotta
line
just
now, but the
leave him
production
there.
is just not there.
But I wonder if he'll stay there now that Andre Palat is back. from injury.
Look at some of these plus minuses on Tampa. You got Tyler Johnson, the excellent Tyler Johnson, plus 20, 34
He's my
points
man.
in 34 games, point a game. Kucherov, who you had a nice little pickup there in our fantasy league.
I snagged him.
Ian, you got him
traded
now.
Traded him to Ian for Spezza.
30 points in 35 games, a solid plus 17. Ryan Callahan plays a lot of minutes against the other team's best offensive forwards, is still a respectable plus 7. And then you got Drouin, minus 1. He's like the only minus on the team,
Yeah, but he's,
other than Ratko Gudas.
He's a D-man, though. Gudis is a
Right.
D-man.
Gudas
Exactly.
is a big
So
dude.
he's the only forward that's in a
he's
minus.
he's a bit of a...
Joey needs to start back checking, throwing some body.
I
Yeah,
don't
he
know,
needs to start playing better away from the puck.
he's
is what he
also
needs
been
to
on the
start
fourth
doing.
line for the bulk of the season, and he's not really one of those role players. He's a
And if-
scorer. He's not a.
If he's fourth line and the mismatch gets created out there with the first line or
Yeah.
even the second line, I mean, his plus minus is going to suffer,
Yeah, that's true.
right? Because he's out there mismatch. He probably, especially if they create a mismatch, he's bagged.
Yeah.
So, and
He's
he doesn't
not a big
back check
guy.
well anyway. He's not a big guy. So, I honestly haven't seen him play yet this year, like a full game. So what's he look like out there? Does he look small like he used to? I found in junior sometimes he looked small.
Right. Absolutely. I find that every time he touches the puck, he has the potential to make something happen. He looks really good then. But no, he doesn't get back a lot defensively. He never really did anyways. And I think what he's having a hard time adjusting to is the fact that in major junior, you have so much more space to get creative with the puck. And that just doesn't exist as much at the NHL level. Like you can have so many seconds to stick handle there in major junior, whereas in NHL, you got a guy like right on you.
Yeah.
And so trying to adjust to that.
And Drew's bigger than you'd expect too. Like he's like 5'11", 180, 185 or
He
something
doesn't
like
look
that.
like that.
No, he doesn't.
looks
at all.
tiny.
Those are his stats. He doesn't look like that. To me.
Apparently he's a lot of lower body. He's got like tree trunks for legs.
I'm gonna
like
call
the
bullshit,
kid.
and he's actually 5'8".
Yeah.
Are ya? You want it? I'll search it.
No, like I'm not saying that that's not what he's
Well,
listed as.
you just call it bullshit.
Not on you, on the
oh,
stat sheet.
okay.
Like players.
Because that was hockey.
Players
Bad
can
in the
put.
stats. Bad in the stats.
Yeah, like my dad said when he used to play hockey, he'd list himself as 6'1", 220, and he was really like 5'11", 200, just to intimidate the
Still
other
a
team.
big boy.
I never
Yeah.
had that problem. My
No.
stats are always bad.
Yeah. 6'8", 320.
6'4", 250, legit numbers.
Okay,
Speaking of padding the old stats, what did you guys think of that Canucks 7-1 demo of Phoenix
Hang on
last
here,
night?
just while we're on the topic of player size, before we get into that, Johnny Hockey,
Johnny Gaudreau.
one of the smallest players in the NHL.
I think
I was just perusing some stats last night. In 35 games played, guess how many hits this kid has?
35.
3.
well, yeah,
Three
he
hits.
hits. So he's 150 pounds.
Yeah, see,
He
yeah,
looks
see,
like
here's-
he looks like he's 10.
He's avoiding hits.
Yeah, here's what I wanted to. So then I did a little more research, and there's definitely some sort of correlation between player size and number of hits, because San Luis was very low on the hit stats as well. And I forget the other guy, the other little guy.
Gerby.
Yeah, he was very low on hits as well. Like I looked at all these little guys, they have like no hits.
He's
And then you look at Ovechkin, who's among the lead leaders in hits.
Yeah.
He's not huge, but he's just a
He's
just a
tank.
power forward.
Yeah.
He's a train.
You
he
see,
goes running around 90 miles an hour all the time.
Gerby's shorter than Gaudreau, but he's pretty built. Gaudreau's like 5'7", but he's a twig.
Right, he gets
Let's see if
flung
I got
around
his-
the ice
his
like
numbers.
crazy.
I'm pretty sure he's 5'7", 150.
5'9", 150, but he might be lying about the 5'9". And
I've
look at
seen
that
one-
face. Look at that face.
Yeah, I know. Not a
He looks
speck.
like he's 14.
He looks like a bibby.
Hey, it looks like he's 10.
Look.
So what's with Calgary, and then what's this other kid's name, Bennett, who couldn't even do
Bennett
a
and-
pull up? Like,
Sam Bennett. Is he on the? He didn't make the team though, did he?
No.
He's in the
no, but he's
minors?
their number one pick. He's gonna be weak
Yeah.
unless he's been training with Gary
Well,
Roberts.
Well, I was just going to
Yeah.
mention Gary Roberts. He couldn't do it either.
Yeah, he can now.
He
He's like
certainly
50.
can now.
Yeah.
He's 50 and he's in better shape than a lot of kids are once they first break into the
He
league.
is ripped now.
He's probably in better shape than he was when.
Yeah.
Than when he
before his
first
neck
got
injury.
in. Yeah, he's
My
probably,
logic
he's
is-
probably in better shape at 50 than he was at 20.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a guy on my team who can put the puck in the net than can pull his chin over a bar. Let's put it that way.
Agreed.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You
That
got,
was a nice segue that you tried there, by the way, with the Canucks, and then
Yeah, sorry. I really stopped the train. I
right in
stopped.
the middle. He's like, "Wait a minute, hang on."
well, I was happy because it looked
I
like
had
they
something
were
I wanted to talk about.
speaking of trains,
because I knew as soon as
getting
as
sideways
the
off the
train,
rails.
As soon as the train went down this rail, I knew it wasn't going back to Gaudreau. So
I just wanted to quickly mention it. That's all because things were looking bad for them, and so coach, don't get too discouraged because they lost 9 in a row. Things can turn around. Look at Vancouver,
I'm used
lost
to it.
5 straight.
They only actually lost 8. I lied to him this morning because I went to bed. LA was up 3-0, and I was like, all right, that's over. Calgary came back and won, so they actually only had an 8-game losing streak, which they
Speaking
slapped.
of Johnny Goodrow with the natural hat trick,
Natural hat trick.
Wow.
thus proving once again that size isn't everything. If you
His
get
27th
tossed
win of
around the
year.
ice like a rag doll, like he does on a nightly basis, and still manages to score like that, how skilled are you per inch of your body
He
or
reminds me of St.
pound?
Louis.
Did you
Who's-
guys
Yeah, that's
see
gotta
the
be
hit
per
on
square
Gianta?
pound.
Yeah.
Jesus, he did a full flip.
Did you see that?
I missed it.
First off, I didn't know Gianna played for Buffalo.
Yeah,
sure does.
Montreal let him go. Montreal let him go in the offseason.
know
He's Buffalo's
So-
captain.
The guy
Yeah.
from Boston, Bartowski, I think. his name
Bartowski,
is.
yeah.
It was a suicide pass coming out of their zone from Foligno's brother.
Yeah.
What's Foligno's younger?
Marcus.
Yeah.
Suicide pass out of the zone. Right away, he knew it was a bad pass, and Gianta reaches out for it. Bartkowski comes by with the shoulder right in the head.
Oh.
And Foligno
Oh.
skated. Foligno, as soon as he let the puck go, he knew. He skated after the puck, and as soon as he got dummy, he grabbed Bartkowski and just started pounding him like this because he knew it was bad. But it was a bad pass.
It
It
was.
was a suey pass.
He literally did a fucking flip
Yeah,
and landed
his
on his
legs
head.
were literally like upside down,
Yeah.
landed
Perpendicular to the ice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he
Wow.
Was, and he was done.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was out cold, but he was done.
Wow.
And he hasn't
Well,
been back
it
yet.
says he's out. Yeah, he's been out since the 21st. Yeah. No idea. He's still day to day.
So huge hits and huge wins from Steve's Canucks. I'll segue back into your topic.
That's a beautiful segue. 45.
So where did all the offensive output come from then in the 7-1 route?
I think it's just one of those things where they had been struggling offensively because when they were on top of the Western Conference, they were getting great production out of all 4 lines, and then that stopped. The second line went cold.
Miller went cold though too.
Miller definitely went cold.
But has Miller ever been warm? He got lots
He
of
used
wins.
to be one of the best goalies in the league. Back
He had some
in,
good years with Buffalo.
yeah.
I mean, like this season, his numbers have been subpar despite all the wins he's getting out of that team.
Yeah.
We talked about that before, I think.
We did,
Where
we did.
His numbers
Oh.
really didn't.
I just
Not in
wanted
here, but just
to mention how bad I felt about Gianta because he does play for Buffalo. He team captains Montreal, and then Montreal trades him to Buffalo.
Like that's a
Here's
slap in the
here's where
face.
you can go to finish your career.
Yeah.
Good luck winning another
Go,
cup.
yeah, have fun getting
did they
pumped.
trade him though, or was he just?
I don't know. I just
No,
I
he
didn't even
FA'd.
know
You're
that.
right. He
Him
FA'd.
and
Yeah, they didn't re-sign him, and they didn't re-sign.
Georges.
Yeah.
That's right.
Georges got an offer from Teal, but he turned it down.
That's right.
And went to Buffalo.
Oh, just a quick point on that 7-1 win. Ryan Miller with a .974 save percentage, one of his better outings of the year.
Beautiful.
The opposition goaltender, Mike Smith, a .636 save percentage.
I'm glad I dropped him.
Anyone have him right now?
No,
Tommy?
he's been cycled around a few teams, but he's on the waiver wire right now.
It would have to be Tommy this
It
week after.
Just goes to show that there doesn't need to be hockey in the desert. Why do they want a team in Vegas? I still don't get it.
I could.
I don't support that.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm not a
with
big
it.
fan
Like,
of it.
I know that they're cool markets. Like Vegas would be a cool market for sports in general, and even the sports betting and everything. But
Yeah.
it's the desert. I'm like, put a team back in Quebec City. Put a team like they got one back
Yeah.
in Winnipeg finally.
Sure.
You know,
They're talking about Seattle. I could see Seattle working.
Even Seattle, I think it could work. But again, I mean, to me, that just doesn't seem like a hockey market.
The most
No.
fans are in Canada, and we have only 7 teams.
Yeah,
we
they
had
should
6
put
for the
one.
longest
They
time.
should put one in Quebec.
I would love to see a team in Quebec because then you could reignite the Quebec-Montreal rivalry
I'd love to see
and
a
get
team
line
here.
brawls every game. Every single
I
game,
don't
a
think we,
line brawl.
we don't have the arena or the population to support a team.
I think we'd have the population because think about it. How big's the Metro Center? 10,
10.
12, something like that.
The burn isn't big.
Yeah, but most
No, I
NHL
know it's not big
You'd
enough,
have to
but when
expand.
McKinnon was hot, that place was full every night.
Every
That's
night.
the-
So
Season,
if we
yeah,
had a
it was.
fucking NHL team, even if they sucked, you'd see good players playing every night, right? Like Detroit comes, or like Kraus comes, or Stamkos comes.
But do we have enough
You could-
money around here for people to afford season tickets? for
Seems
an
like there's
NHL
money
team?
coming from somewhere because now they're finally getting the trade center built. And what else are they doing? Oh, the library.
Library.
Oh, that library.
Shipyard contract.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it's a-
years.
I don't think the NHL team in Halifax is far fetched at all. It's just the rink.
Yeah.
Someone's got to pony up the money, and so either you expand Metro Center, which I don't know if you can do because wouldn't that take it out into Brunswick Street then?
They'd have to probably build something new outside, like
Yeah.
Right.
the Crossing or Bears Lake or somewhere where there's space.
Take the Shannon Arena area right under the bridge.
Yeah,
They were gonna dump that whole place and build a Canada Game Center.
yeah.
But-
it's a stretch parallel, but I know they talked about bringing CFL market out here.
Yeah.
And even that, I mean, I know they don't get as many fans, but
CFL.
they'd have to draw their fan base from Atlantic Canada or yeah, Atlantic or Maritimes or whatever the 3 provinces here.
You
Sorry.
can kick the
Sorry.
hand I beat the out of you
Sorry.
with.
You blew it. Okay, anyway, we do have to wrap things up here.
Yeah, I gotta
The,
go.
the reason I said Seattle was because they really get behind their sports teams there.
Yeah.
Like Seahawks, Sonics back in the day. So I could see hockey working there too.
Is there anything else we wanted to get to? One more quick topic before we get to Top Cheddar and You Blew It? We don't have a schedule this week, folks, as you might have noticed. I thought that was actually pretty smooth considering there was no preparation at all.
Well, I've never prepared for one of
Usually,
these.
I say I don't prepare, but I usually put at least 10 minutes of research in the night before. This time I just came in completely cold. I wasn't even 100% sure we were going to record today.
Yeah.
100% ad lib. I think it came off pretty well.
And it's been
so
good.
much so that I don't even think you had to mention that. No one would have known otherwise.
But no, it
Yeah,
makes
good
us
job,
it makes
Cole.
us more humble.
It's true. Good point. Humility is important.
Humble. Did this just die
Speaking of which, if you were to pick one, you blew it. What would it be?
for this week?
Yes.
Well, I have one lined up. It's going to, unfortunately, as much as I like Canadian hockey teams, it has to go to the Calgary Flames. And Colt 45 predicts, and the Calgary Flames deliver an 8-game losing streak in the month of December. As predicted, they would go cold, and what better way to define a cold streak than an 8-game losing skid? Although, props on the win last night. That's a big comeback against a great hockey club in LA. Another good prediction by Steve, I might add, is a side note. He picked LA to be mediocre in December. Anyway,
Also Boston.
off
And,
track.
and look at Boston now. They're 10th in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, that is. If they miss the playoffs, that could be the biggest prediction of the year from Steve. Anyhow, 8-game losing streak, and to cap it all off, they scored on themselves against Vancouver 3 nights ago. Was it?
Saturday night.
They scored on their own
That
net
was
with an
hilarious.
extra minute. They pulled the goalie on a delayed penalty call and put it in their own net. So Calgary, I'm
and
sorry,
the difference maker because that game went to overtime.
Really?
Vancouver won that game in OT. So an extra, you blew it.
but, so just as like kind of a parallel with that, you blew it. I'm going to have to also give an honorable mention to Boudreasy, because not 2 weeks ago he was saying that Calgary was a legitimate hockey club, and he said you blew it to all the people who predicted Calgary would go on a losing streak. So right back at you.
Oh,
right
good
back,
memory.
right
Good
back
memory.
at you, Boudreasy.
I love it. You actually
blew it.
listen to what I say,
I do listen sometimes.
even when I'm wrong.
I listen when I'm being ridiculed, and I don't take it lightly when someone tells me I'm incorrect. So here it is. Calgary, you blew it, and Boudreasy, you kind of blew it.
For now, they could still turn things around.
Oh yeah,
it's only
I'm
December.
not saying they're done. I'm just my prediction of them
It was
coming back
a
to reality at least a little bit.
Damn nice comeback last night. So my top cheddar then is going to be Johnny Goodrow with a natural hat
There
trick
you
and a
go.
great
There,
comeback for the
yeah.
Calgary
My boy.
to beat Chicago
Where's the soundbite?
in
Where's the soundbite?
overtime.
Oh.
You know the one.
Oh, Johnny Goodrow.
So yeah, Johnny Goodrow, great hat trick. I'm gonna keep talking so that it doesn't sound like there's dead air while we wait for the soundbite. Steve, really good choice on this top cheddar because I was thinking the same thing.
Shot by Johnny Hockey.
Hey, yes sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, top cheddar, Johnny Goodrow. I was also going to mention that crazy Florida Washington shootout that went to 20 rounds.
Oh shit, that was my top cheddar.
Well,
It was Luongo in the 20-round shootout.
Steal.
Anyway, you didn't say you blew it. What was your you blew it? Or did you say it and I wasn't listening?
No. You blew it was.
Boudreasy
Well,
versus Coach.
I was going to talk about my bus incident.
Oh.
You guys mentioned that already.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, we don't need a you blew it, or do you?
Yeah.
I used to.
You could
I've blown it plenty. Oh, and then also
Wow.
in our fantasy league there, leaving Ribeiro on the bench last night
Oh,
because I was
yes.
so immersed in Christmas shopping that I forgot to.
Your matchup, you two.
Yeah.
I
Coach
blew
and
it.
Boudreasy.
Here's an honorable mention.
Okay, this is the.
blew it?
It's not even an honorable. This is the ultimate. You blew
From
it.
a week and a half ago or so, Boudreasy and Coach Connor were matched up in the fantasy pool, and Connor looked to have emerged victorious. However, the next morning, Steve was credited with the win, and we were like, what is going on here? Then we noticed that Connor did not reach his minimum 3 goalie starts for the week.
That's right.
And,
They didn't
and
play.
Why did that happen? Because he benched Craig Anderson one night. And
He got lit up though, so he probably would have won. He let in
Would
5
he-
goals against
would
LA.
he have? You still would have beat him in wins, though, wouldn't you?
He still lost that game.
Yeah, but at
Yeah,
least
but your
no,
overall
your
wins.
other wins would have counted. It gave you 0 wins.
Coach,
Anyway,
it was a tough
nonetheless-
way to lose.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, you
anyways.
benched your goalie.
I thought they were gonna play Luongo against Buffalo, and they fucking played their backup Clemens. So
Clemenson.
whatever. Going to have a smoke. It was good doing this.
There we go.
Coach.
That's unbelievable. So yeah, again, top cheddar, 20-round shootout, longest shootout in NHL history, and the Panthers, my dark horse Panthers, emerged victorious over Braden Holtby and the Washington Capitals. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna roll out with an outro here.
We're finishing right at 2 o'clock.
You
See
can
if we're getting
follow us
better.
on Twitter at Weekly Puck Off. Please,
Thanks for all of your production skills.
Thanks, buddy.
Connor, it's been a pleasure. Put her there.
I'll see you. I'll come around.
Nice job, eh?
Thanks, guys.
Send us emails. I haven't checked the email account for 3 weeks, so
Probably
there
none
might
there.
be some
Probably
questions. Chances are there are none.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good night,
Check
everybody.
us out on Twitter and eventually iTunes.